I'm starting a new series on my channel that is a game show that I made up called Now That's What I Call Bullshit. In this game, I'm going to tell you guys some very random, very obscure zombie facts that are true, and one of them will be a lie and will be false. And you guys will get to interact and call bullshit on the one you think is not true. I'll show you guys how you can vote later on in the video, and for this episode 1, I'm going to show you 4 zombie facts, and 3 of them will be true and 1 of them will be bullshit. Number 1 takes us all the way back to Black Ops 3 and the map Shadows of Evil. This map is a classic and, in my opinion, one of the best ones they've ever created. There is just so much to look at, and there was a ton of development that went into the creation of this map. And this first zombie fact I'm going to tell you is about the Apothican Egg. The Apothican Egg is a focal point during the steps that you do to obtain the Apothican Sword and then ultimately upgrade it to the Keeper Sword. To obtain the Apothican Egg, you have to bust down a secret door and then pluck it off of this Cthulhu altar shrine, which I have in my house if you guys have seen that video. Then you place it in these statues around the map and feed it souls, and then you guys know the rest of the steps. But have you ever stopped to take a close look at one of these eggs? A lot of the times it's really difficult to see the fine detail that they actually put into these maps. You're moving so fast, you're trying not to get killed, you're just trying to get things done, picking up objects and placing them wherever they need to go. But if you stop and take a really good look at these Apothican eggs, they're extremely high detail. The design on these eggs is nothing random or accidental or something that just looks cool. They're actually based on something real. If you guys have ever seen the Alien movies, and specifically the one that is Alien vs. Predator, there's a very iconic scene where the humans are being cocooned and devoured, and then the camera pans back and shows all these eggs in this chamber. They call these xenomorph eggs, and the Apothican eggs are modeled directly after these. They've got a type of bumpy texture, and then they've got this fleshy webbing on the outside, just like these eggs in the movie. Here's a model replica of one of the xenomorph eggs from Alien vs. Predator. You can see that fleshy webbing and how, yeah, it's really close to what the Apothican egg looks like. Now later on, you'll get to decide if this is just a coincidence and you call bullshit, or if you think it's true. Number 2 takes us back to Shadows of Evil, and this time we're talking about one of the playable characters. This is Jessica Rose. Jessica works as a burlesque dancer in the Black Lace Club, though she dreams of becoming a famous Hollywood star. This character has a dark past, and the voice actor for her is Heather Graham. She's been acting since the 80s and has been in a ton of great movies like Boogie Nights, Austin Powers, the Hangover series, but she was not their first choice to voice act Jessica Rose. At the time that she voiced Jessica Rose, Heather Graham was in her mid-40s, and they were wanting a little bit of a younger actress, and they wanted to go with Kirsten Dunst. At that time, Kirsten was going to be in her early 30s, and that was fitting the profile for this character, but she was unavailable, so they went with Heather Graham. Again, later you'll get to decide if this is true or if it's bullshit. Number 3 takes us again to Black Ops 3, but this time we're going into the menus and into Doctor Monty's factory. I remember back in the day first hearing about these gobblegums and this factory, and I was thinking how ridiculous this was going to be. Like, there was no way this was going to catch on. It's funny looking back because I was so wrong about that. Like, gobblegums were a huge hit. I love them myself, and yeah, it was very accepted and worked well with zombies. Seeing this factory for the first time was exciting, and it was a new way for us to experience consumables, and the design idea behind this factory has a really interesting story. Most people would agree that this has a steampunk type aesthetic, but there's more to it than just that. The design idea for this is that they wanted this to look like equipment from the 1930s or 40s, and they wanted it to look experimental. But most importantly, they wanted this to look like it was something from Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, which makes sense because this is essentially candy, and Willy Wonka, obviously, based around candy. But once I learned that, I was like, that is so cool. It made me enjoy this so much more. There's multiple scenes from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and we're not talking about the newer versions. This is the original movie. The original movie was made in 1971 with Gene Wilder, and there's multiple scenes where he's got all these experimental things going on. He's making an everlasting gobstopper in one scene, then he makes this gum for Violet that tastes like a full dinner and it blows her up into a blueberry, and then he actually has an area that is for just more experiments. But yeah, they wanted wanted to have lots of whistles and pressure valves and pipes and heat coils. So yeah, the aesthetic for Dr. Monty's was taken directly from Willy Wonka. So again, you'll have to decide, do you call bullshit or do you think it's true? And finally, number 4, the last one. This is again going back to Black Ops 3, and this is about a perk that didn't make the cut. I can see why this perk didn't make the cut. There was a bunch of gobblegums being added that filled the role of what this perk was gonna do, so yeah, it makes sense that they removed it. But this perk was going to be called the Purple Cow perk, and it was gonna cost 6,000 points, which would have been the most expensive perk ever in Call of Duty Zombies history. This perk's ability was gonna give you an extra stomach, which allowed you to buy one extra perk that would be beyond the max amount of perks that you could hold. The idea here is that cows have multiple stomachs, and I guess that's what they were trying to do here, just imply that you've got more stomachs, you can hold more. But what would happen is you had a cow icon on your screen next to your perks, and if you went and bought this perk, then whenever you maxed out the number of perks you could hold, the next one after that would go into that purple cow spot. But there were multiple gobblegums coming in that basically did what this perk did, so it canceled it out, and Perkaholic is definitely one of them. So that is all 4 zombie facts, and now you guys get to decide which one you want to call bullshit on. Do you think it's number 1, the Apothican Egg being based on the xenomorph egg from Alien vs. Predator? Do you think it's number 2, where they originally wanted Kirsten Dunst to voice Jessica Rose, but instead went with Heather Graham? Is it number 3, that Dr. Monty's factory is based off of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and his experimental lab? Or finally, is it number 4, the Purple Cow perk that cost an astronomical 6,000 points and allowed you to hold one extra perk past your max? The way you guys can interact is I've got a poll running right now in the community section on YouTube, and I'm going to have a link to that poll down in the description and then also in the comment section. I'll have that comment pinned up at the top so you guys can have easy access to go and vote. I'll also have this video linked in that poll vote so you can just cross-reference that. And I know you guys are going to be wanting the answer to which one is bullshit, and I'll be posting that as a shorts video shortly after this video goes live. I want to give you guys time to watch this video and then go answer and vote in the poll before I do that. So the answers will be in a shorts video, and then I will be doing an episode 2. And at the beginning of the episode 2, I'll be talking about the answer to this episode 1. So if you missed the shorts video that has the answer, then just look out for episode 2, and I'll be talking about it in the beginning of that video. I'd like to keep doing these. I've got a ton of useless zombies information that's fun and information that most 99% of people don't know. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys enjoy this format and want me to keep going. I certainly would like to. I hope you guys did enjoy this and found it fun, and we'll see you guys next video.